what's up with Sean Baligian?
What up, this is Joique Bell here on the Baligian and Bell show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. Is up. So glad that you can join us on a Thursday afternoon here on Woodward Sports. It's not Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Glad you could join us. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. It's not just any Thursday, Joique.
Thank you.
Thank
you. It's Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, it's Throwback Thursday.
What up, Doe? I got a little throwback.
We got a throwback.
My old team I used to work for.
Yeah.
The Plymouth Whalers.
Yeah, and I'm gonna revert. You know that's a nice little segue. I got a nice one later on as we get into the show.
Oh, look at see
the Throwback Thursday.
Pro. He's teasing,
nice
right?
It's a little teasing. I have something for you.
We have one of the fine workers at Lady Jane's here going to come talk some hockey with us later on.
Are you coming on?
She wants to talk hockey with us later on. So, she knows her stuff. I'm telling you. You know what was cool? I walk in today,
right?
And you know what I had on? I had on my DePaul mask, right?
Right.
Go Blue Demons. And she said to me when I walked in, she goes, "Where's the original Six mask?" And I go, "She's the coolest person in this building." And that includes everybody. She is the coolest person in this building. So
I'm telling you.
It was.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. All right.
No,
yeah.
You know what? It was really cool, Joique. And then we started talking hockey, and I found out what a big hockey fan she is, and I was like, that's cool.
No, we're gonna get her on for an episode.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Honestly, should be today since we're taking on the prayers tonight.
Yeah, look at see what I'm talking about. Is this guy? Is just total pro. It never ends. It's like always teasing, always billboarding. He's just a pro.
Stop it.
No, sir, for real. No, you know what's funny? She actually don't tell her we said this, Joique. It's almost like there are people. I think you know this, okay? Whether you want to admit it or not, there are people that go, "Do you know Joique Bell?" Yeah, I know Joique Bell. He's like my hero. He was my favorite player when I was playing and stuff like that, right? And people get embarrassed to say that. So she said in front of all of us, gosh, she's going to get so mad at me, but she goes, like, I love Darren McCarty. And I go, well, have you talked to him? He's around here. And she goes, I'm just too embarrassed. And you know what I always tell people?
Why is that, though?
Thank you.
Why?
Do you know what I say? I go, look at that smiling face. Look at Joique's smile. He is a really nice guy. I'm not just saying that because he could crush my head like a grape.
No, it's coming from you. Art want to say the same thing. I want to say the same thing.
More on that in a minute. Anyway, no, but really, Joique, it's funny because you have pretty much the exact same reaction that like McCarty has, and it's like they're normal people. Like you don't carry yourself like, hello, I'm Joique Bell. You might remember me from the NFL. You're just a dude, right?
Do it again.
Hello, I'm Joique Bell. You might remember me from the National Football League. No, you're just Joique. You're Joique.
And then they hit you with the, no, I've never heard of you.
Yeah, right. And the same thing with, it's like Darren McCarty. Oh, my gosh, March 26, 1997. I was like, yeah, he sits on a toilet and poos, too.
Yeah.
Really, they're just, like, you guys are just normal people.
Normal people.
It's kind of funny.
Normal guys.
It's kind of funny. All right. So, evidently, while we were doing the smoke show yesterday, a video was being taped. Unbeknownst to me, a video was being taped.
It was being taped.
Can we watch this video?
In a second. Real quick. When they first came in with the food for your smoke show, right?
Yeah.
And he said he made me a vegan chili.
Yes.
He said, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it. He said, well, I made a pork chili, too. And you tried both of them. Which one did you like the most?
Oh, I did. I like the vegan chili the most. I openly admit it. Well, no, I have no problem saying that. Zero, zilch, none.
What did you say before?
I thought that there was no chance in Hades that I would like the vegan chili. But I'm not I hate using this term, I'm not a closed-minded person. So normally I would say I don't want anything to do with it, but I was like, I'm going to try it, and it was out of the 3 chilies, it was the best chili. It was
The best one.
No, I'm not.
You saw that tub he gave me?
Did you eat it all?
It was almost gone before I got home. So I was in the car.
Just drink it like a coffee?
In the car. In the car. And I had the car. I had some assistant driving. The car was driving itself, so I was able to like take my time, take the top off, not spill it on myself. And yeah, by the time I got home, I probably had about that much left. And
That was.
It was good.
It was really good.
I need the ingredients.
It was really.
I need the ingredients.
Like
for that one.
Okay, the one with the bacon brisket sirloin was really good, but like the flavors that he put and the different kinds of beans he put in that vegan chili, I'm not. I've always told you, like, I'm going to shoot straight with you, okay?
Yeah.
That was the best chili. I have no problem admitting that to you.
You know what you probably liked about it that was different?
What?
That Chipotle sauce with the little kick to it.
There was a kick to it. There was, and yesterday it was so freezing
still
cold in
sweating from
here. I needed that chili to warm me up.
Yeah.
All right, yesterday, what did I say it was yesterday? It was 278 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, about 278.
It's more like, I'd say the temperature is about 232 right now. It dropped to about 232 degrees in here today.
It feels better today.
For you guys, it's a sauna in here.
Art, raise your hand. It's better when you keep the blinds down, right? And it keeps that greenhouse effect kind of out of here. It does.
I feel like Richard said bacon butter. Please elaborate. That was unbelievable. Now, Joique
butter with some bacon in it.
Yeah, Joique couldn't try. So what he did is he candied bacon, right? Candied bacon, smoked it, candied it, let it sit overnight, chopped it up into fine pieces, and then put it in with this butter that he told me he creamed it up, mixed it up like 10 times over, and then put it in and mixed it in one more time. It was such a smooth, tasty butter, because it's like, you know what, it comes down, it has to come like in waves, right? So you got the butter taste, you got the bacon taste, but then you got the salty and the sweet together. It was awesome. It was fantastic. I was using
Sounds like
it
a heart attack.
Mike and I were using it like a dip. Like seriously, we were. Art, you were here. We were taking corn chips and going like this, like a dip. It was that freaking good.
No, he had a dip here that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Which, you took some of that home. You took right? That dip you took some of that home. That was really good.
Oh yeah, that was
really
a good dip.
All right, so as we're doing the show yesterday, and you'll be able to watch the show tomorrow. And, part of it, if you haven't watched the Smoke Show yet, like during the course of the show, like honestly, it's just one of those shows. We don't know what the hell is going to happen and who's going to show up. And we've had some Oakland Raiders appear. Joique makes an appearance. McCarty makes an appearance. Or I should say Las Vegas Raiders. And yesterday, while we're doing our show, we have, for the benefit of you at home that can't see this, we have like a conference room right next to us through the glass. And Joique was conducting some business. He was having a meeting with Jesse, right? You were in there with Jesse?
Yeah.
And you guys were doing some
business.
You're taking care of some business, right?
Taking care of one of the businesses that we're working on together right now. And Art,
that is a bold-faced lie. You were sitting in there with Joey goofing off.
No,
was it Joey?
It was Joey, but we were
I
still
thought
taking
it
care
was
of
Jesse.
business.
I'm sorry.
It was Joey. We were taking care, but we were taking care of business, right? We were taking care of business, and I see Art just in here on his phone, and he's just not doing anything. And I just caught a glance of it. I caught a glance of it while as I was talking to Joey. And I looked to my right, and I look in here, and he's just like this watching the show. He's like one of the people in the YouTube just enjoying the show, just watching the show, just watching. And I said, Joey, do you see this man? All that junk he's not doing anything. He just sits behind that and just does nothing. And so I pulled out my phone.
Yeah, we'll play the clip.
We'll play the clip. I pulled out my phone, and I recorded him doing nothing. And you can see in his eyes that he was caught.
Art never does any work. Look. He's not even moving his hands. He's not doing anything. He's a bum. He's just looking at the screen. Look at him. He's out there.
Got me. Look. Darn it. Let me act like I'm doing something. You
That
see?
look was. I wish we could screenshot that look and just put that.
Play that.
Is there any way we can pause it at that? Like,
Can we pause it at that?
All
clip?
right, you know
did
what?
get-
Hang on, real quick. I could do that, but I don't do anything. So sorry, it can't happen today, guys. Sorry. You know what I'm saying, Joique?
Point proven.
I'm
Point proven. You just proved my point.
I have to
You
sit
had one job.
still.
Hold up. We just asked you to do one thing. Can you play that back and pause it on your face? That's all we asked. Can you do that? Are
Yeah,
you
I
capable of
can,
doing
but I
that?
don't want. I feel
Yeah.
I feel
Is that
targeted.
what you want
No,
to?
there's.
Hold up.
Look
Pause
at that look, Art. Art, that's the look at death. Dude, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah. You see that look?
Art fires that look at me before we hit the mat. No way. I'm telling you,
Hilarious.
Art. I'm gonna crawl up in a ball, fetal position. I'm done. Art, you win. I'm tapping out now. Look at that look, dude.
I just don't get it because I've offered Joique multiple times to come in here, sit in here, and do my job for one day, and he won't do it. Instead, he distracts me while I'm producing a future award-winning smoke show, okay? Future award-winning smoke show, and you want to sit here at the class and go, hey, what are you doing, Art? Leave me alone. You're a bully.
I did not touch the window at all. Play it
Your
back.
presence is enough.
No. You said not. So now he's a liar now. So not only does he not work, he's a liar too. Because I didn't touch the window at all. I was just recording, and you saw that I caught you. I tagged you in it too, so you can repost it on your story so people can know
So
that
I'm not
you're not doing
reposting
anything.
anything that you said because
Art,
it's
you know
rude.
what though? Can you explain? And we're gonna get to the bottom of this. And on cue, Grammy Whammy shows up.
Thank you.
See what I'm saying? Good morning, guys.
Huh.
Listen, so Art, can you explain for the people out there that see that video? Now, can we get your side of the story? Joique, visual
no-
evidence of his side.
He's not
of the
letting
story.
me talk.
There's no side of the story. The eye in the sky don't lie.
Can I explain?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was doing is I'm sitting right here, and there's a button that I have to press to switch
Hey,
the
man,
camera
get my
views.
face while
like,
you're doing this.
Like this. No, I control this, okay? The other thing is I have to work
back
with
on my
Fish
face,
for
please.
audio. Okay, see,
Thank
but
you.
I'm doing that. You're saying I'm not doing anything. Watch this. Doing something, doing something, doing something, doing something. I'm doing stuff. Just because I'm not doing jumping jacks and pull-ups at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning doesn't mean I'm not working.
Everybody's not that disciplined.
I'm disciplined because I'm here early as on time. I got 2 shows to do. I'm a busy fella. I deserve. Where are my roses? You know what? Actually, I don't want roses. Make it a cheesesteak.
We'll give you some thorns.
Fish, if I gave you money, would you go down the street and get some cheesesteaks
Well,
for
it's
us?
got to be gluten free.
Darn it. Forget that.
Look at that, man.
That was
baby
funny.
belly.
We both like laugh when you're do it.
Can you say you're sorry for bullying me?
I'm not bullying you. I'm just calling you out. I'm holding you accountable. That's
Okay,
all.
I'm gonna start calling you out every single day.
That's fine. Call me out.
Be ready.
So Art, so basically, you know, you just showed people what's going on in that room. You have to play the videos. Mm-hmm. You have to
Play with his fingers. Go on IG.
I'm not. My phone is literally way over here because I'm too
The room
dedicated.
It's 50 square
I
feet.
have small hands, Joique. I can't reach it.
That's what your wife said.
Is there anything?
Now you're gonna, Sean. You're gonna let him talk to me like that after all we've been through.
Is there no? That I'm trying really hard. I have to be in the middle. You know that. Is
Thank
there
you. You gotta
is
be in
there
the middle.
anything that we can do, Art, to remedy this situation?
You know
Yes.
what though?
Go ahead.
Let me set it straight. Me or Art, when the show first started, we were like this, right? We were like this.
Now we're like this.
Art wanted us to be like that. That's what he wanted. He wanted us to be like this.
No, I don't.
You didn't want this at first?
No,
Oh,
Joique,
so
you're
you
just a
didn't-
guy, and
Hey,
I'm just a guy.
Hey, you remember I want you to be my best friend, Joique. I want you to.
Then I found out who you really are. I'm like, you know what? I could do without it. Where's T-Mac at, my real friend?
When did you really find out who I really was as a person?
When you couldn't take a loss in Call of Duty.
That's when you found out. But even after that show, you still said you wanted to be best friends.
No,
After
I
that
have
show.
to do this.
Yeah.
It's my job. I got forced into this. It's like torture. But I'm here every day,
You know,
early.
I don't know what Chad sees in him.
I don't
know what
either.
Hey, Chad, we got to have a talk, man.
Yeah, let's all have a talk.
Have a sit
I'll
down
be on
in the
jet.
conference room.
This is no. You know what? I think we're getting. I want to talk about some of the stuff.
We're like here now. We went from here and then.
You guys you're warming up to one another, right?
And force, yes.
It's warming up because it's getting warm outside. It's 54 degrees. It's
You guys are
70,
complaining
80
about that it's warm. It's 500 degrees in here. I'm sorry if I'm a little testy today.
Two guys who fell into a bromance. I'm on the outside looking in. I kind of feel the same way.
No, it's a workmance because it only happens at work.
A workmance?
Don't text me after. Don't call me after. Don't ask me to put a clip up. Don't ask me to do this. I do a lot around here. And then you just say, Chad, I don't know why you hired your boy.
How many times do you guys game during the week, though?
None. We done it once, and I do that on purpose.
You only did it once?
He's my work wife, and I'm the man.
All right. Well, you know what? You guys saw the video. I'll let you guys be the judge.
Bully.
Okay? I'll let you guys be the judge. Joique was in the conference room, saw Art during the smoke show.
Doing nothing. Recorded it, caught it on film, so there was no argument. There's no argument. We got it on film. The eye in the sky don't lie. The eye in the sky does not lie.
Okay, suggestion.
All right.
Why don't we have Joique starting Monday? He can produce the show, and I'll be Joique Bell. I'll wear the jersey. I'll do the hot takes. I'll do the Riff Rocket Sports Report. Okay, I'll do all that stuff.
You know, I will agree to that, but there's only one thing. You can never be Joique Bell.
Because I'm me. I'm me.
Okay, so don't say you'll be me.
Because you can never be me.
You know, Grammy Whammy chimed in. She had a message for you, Art.
Oh, jeez.
She said, Art, stop letting him rattle you like that. He's really having fun.
I know, but it's hurtful. It hurts my feelings. You know, when people say, what's it like? When my son's like, what's it like working with Joique Bell? I got to lie to him? I got to say, oh, it's great. He's so awesome. He's so great. No, he's a jerk. You don't have the video up, Art. What are we doing? It's hurtful.
Hey, do your job. Do your job, I do mine.
This is the hardest job I've ever had.
So really quick, I want to hop into it, man.
Yes.
Cephus.
Yeah.
Suing Wisconsin because his allegations that they use him as a scapegoat. How do you feel about how everything went
You
down?
know what? That story, I hate using this term because it's been bastardized over the years. Like, for example, Mike Babcock used it last night, and Mike Babcock continues to make himself look like an ass. I'll leave that there. That story from the beginning didn't pass the smell test. That didn't pass the smell test, and I'm sorry. I know in this day and age where you're just automatically supposed to say, I believe in whoever it is when something like this arises, because it's sad and unfortunate that horrible things have happened like this, okay? But what is crazy to me in these days is instead of people letting the facts play themselves out, instead of people earnestly making an effort to seek out the facts, what happens today is somebody says, I believe Joique Bell. I believe Sean Baligian. I believe fill-in-the-blank woman. Instead of taking a look at the facts. Or at least, you know what it is, Joique? It's almost like guilty until proven innocent.
That's exactly what it is.
And I have an issue with that. And I wish we as a society would kind of get back to innocent before proven guilty.
Right.
I really do. It's frustrating. And you're talking about a young man, and I'm not saying that Quintez Cephus is an angel by any stretch, okay? I'm not. You know,
you're speaking in general. We know.
Yeah. But you know what? You can do an idiot thing. You can do a jackass thing, but it doesn't have to be a criminal thing. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
There's a difference. There just is. You can say, I don't like what happened, but that's a big difference between we should put this guy in jail type of stuff. And I don't know when it happened. I don't know how it happened, but it's very frustrating to me. It's very frustrating to me.
This is another example of how we need to wait for all the facts to come out, right? Because allegations can end someone's career.
Sure can.
Right? It can end someone's career, even if it's not true. Even if it's not, you know, you have similar case with the Cowboys back in the early 90s.
I still remember her name. Nina Shaw Raven. Nina Shaw Raven accused 3 Dallas Cowboys of each taking their turn on her, I have no other way to say it. If you have soft ears, here's your warning. It's coming. In a brutal gangbang. That was the allegation that she made, and I'll never forget Michael Irvin's face.
Discuss.
He said, "You go after this now as hard as you went after us when all the stuff came out."
Yeah.
He was 100% right.
Correct.
100%.
Right. And you got to think.
Duke lacrosse team. There's another one.
What was that?
Duke lacrosse team. The Duke, all that stuff that happened with the Duke lacrosse team. Those guys were, satanic worshipers for a couple days on every sports show, everywhere. They really were. They're horrible guys. All white, rich, upper class guys with entitlement and all that stuff. They were murdered by the press. Murdered. I don't care who it is.
Wait for the facts to come out.
Thank you.
On both sides. You have to take into consideration these are people's lives. And at one point, does the victim turn into the villain, or the villain turns into the victim? It happens. And it happens more often than not. And I hate that for players. I hate that for victims. And when it hits the media, they take it and they run with it, because in the media world, it's better to be first than accurate. For some reason, that's the logic that they take.
Drives me out of my mind.
But yeah, man, it's a defamation of character for me. To take something that you've taken your whole life to build, and it only takes one mistake. You can do all these things. You can have your nonprofit. You can run different businesses. You can give back. You can be a philanthropist. You can adopt kids. You can fund orphanages. You can do all these things. But you go out there and somebody says, "Oh, he raped this girl," right? They don't care about the other stuff. They're going to take that.
Absolutely.
Because I told you before, media will build you up because it makes for a better story when you fall, right? And so, yeah, I think he's very, very well in his rights too. You have something you want to say? Right.
Yeah, my thing is suing Wisconsin is one thing, but what about the victims that came forward? To me, it's an eye for an eye. You should serve the time that Cephus was supposed to serve for your wrongdoing and being a liar and putting this man away for, a whole year of his life. It's disgusting.
To me, the way that people just throw away people's character and integrity today is disgusting. And I'm going to go there. I shouldn't go there, but I'm going to go there Anyway, the Christine Blasey Ford stuff a couple years ago, and people saying I believe Christine Blasey Ford. What? Huh? Based on what?
Right.
If you paid attention to that at all, this is a woman that said, "Oh yeah, Art and Joique were there when that happened." And then when you asked Art and Joique, they both go, "I have no idea what she's talking about." There was not one corroborating witness. And if it's not my fault if she says.
Is it the Central Park 5? What was it?
Yeah, that's another one. But this was for Justice Kavanaugh. And if she tells me Joique Bell was there, Joique Bell watched this, and I asked Joique Bell, and Joique, she says you were there. I have no idea what she's talking about. At that point in time, you have just absolutely assassinated this guy for weeks and days in front of the entire nation, right? And in that moment, I'm like, where's the apology? Are we going to get an apology? No, we're not going to get an apology because it's politics. Or where's the apology for Quintez Cephus? No, we're not going to do that because he's just some dumb black athlete. You're screwing with people's lives. What kind of evil lurks in you? I don't. Dude, I'm sorry. That stuff gets me. Don't worry. You can continue to play football. No, you screwed with my life. People that know me think that I did something awful and unspeakable to this human being.
It's like I said, it's defamation of character. And it's one thing that I was always taught growing up. Grandfather taught me this. Is there's two things that you can. There's two things you don't play with, right? You don't play with your family, and you don't play with your name. All right, you can play with your money because you can always make that back. But your name, that's something that sticks with you.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I remember I was at church, and I was listening to the pastor speak, and he was talking about his daughter. She was coming to, and she was on this insurance. No. She wanted to buy a car. And he said, "Listen, baby, I'm not going to co-sign your car, but what I will do, I'll give you the money to get your car. I'm not about to put my name on your on your car, and you miss a payment, then that hurts my credit as well. All right, I'm not about to do that, but what I will do is I'll give you the money." And so this is something similar to where don't play with my name. I'm not about to, like, this has tarnished my name. And by tarnishing my name, you are messing with my money, how I put food on the table, because now I lose endorsements, I lose sponsorships, and it's a lot of things that goes into that. And he understands that, and he's felt it. He's felt it. And so now the school has to, they have to pay that man. That man. And that probably won't even help.
Well, and you know what it comes back to again? I think we as a society, and there are so many things today, and we talked about one of them yesterday, like the pendulum has to start swinging back the other way. Like, people are out of their minds now. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. Both sides, okay? The extremes on both sides are crazy. And I think more rational people have to be willing to have conversation, and sometimes tough conversation, to get the pendulum coming back the other way. Because, I mean, things are crazy, right? If I say something, you just have to automatically assume it's true. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. It doesn't. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what race you are. No, I'm sorry. If you're going to accuse me or anybody of something,
have your facts straight.
You got to prove it, right? But it's just so easy now to say, throw any label you want out there. Oh, you're a right-wing extremist Nazi. Based on what? Based on what? Because I don't think the way that you do? Because you don't think the way that I do? I mean, that's where it's cuckoo crap.
You had mentioned the hashtags too, and again, this plays into what we were talking about yesterday, social media. I could say, "Oh, Sean Baligian came to my house and robbed, my family and everything," and hashtag free art or something. If one person picks up on it, then next thing you know, it goes viral based off of what evidence, off of what I said.
Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with now. I mean, you have a football player that lost a year of his life. He had to fight for himself and fight for his rights as a human being. And now the victims just say, "Oh yeah, we were making it up." So what happens to them?
You know what, though? I'll give you a perfect example, man. A good friend of mine. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Brian Banks. You remember that name?
No.
So they actually just did a movie on his life. I would train, and so I met him in around 2012, when I started training in LA. And what happened was he was accused of raping a girl. Right? He was accused of raping a girl, and lost he was like a top scholar. He was going to the university and lost his scholarship, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically he lost like a portion of his life, right? But still, years later, was announced that all charges was dropped. Found out that she was lying through some evidence that was found. Lost a portion of his life, but even through it all, still was able to make it to the NFL and had an opportunity to play for a while, but should have played way longer than what he did, but due to the circumstances, he lost a portion of it.
Isn't it disgusting?
All right, but what happens to that victim now for lying?
Nothing.
What happens to this victim?
Nothing.
They go scot-free.
Yeah, it's
and I'm not sitting here saying that if you are a victim of a sexual assault that you shouldn't go to police. You should, but for the people who are caught in a lie and destroying people's lives, it needs to be some type of sentence for them as well. It needs to be, because this has to stop.
And as you said, what's interesting is how apt people are to say, "Well, everything worked out. Cephus is in the NFL now. What are you complaining about?" What we'll never know,
the trauma that he
is
goes.
Number one, the trauma, and what we'll never know is the impact on his bottom line. Could he have gone earlier? I don't know. I have no idea. Neither do you.
Right. We can't.
So I there's no way I can quantify what kind of impact that had psychologically on somebody and financially on somebody, and that's where I'm with you. I've said this more times. You can say whatever you want about me. I'm fine. Like, really, I've heard it all. You can't surprise me. I've been in this cutthroat business for almost 26 years now, okay? But guess what? Mother bleeper, if I catch you lying about me, that's different. That's different. When you're walking around saying, "Oh, did you hear this guy did that, or did you hear that?" That's where I get offended. If I did something, I have to own it. I'll be the first guy to own it. If I disrespected you, Joique, I'll be the first guy to say, "Joique, I screwed up, man. I'm sorry."
You just inspired me.
But it's like, you know, when I get mad is if Joique, you tell, "Hey, Art, did you hear what Sean did? He shoved fish down and, you know, poured water on it," or whatever. It's like, well, guess what? I'm going to say, that's not true. What the hell's wrong? Why are you making things like that up? But guess what? In the process, you've told 15 people at another entity in this town what an asshole I am. And guess what? You think they're ever going to hire me? Tell me that isn't affecting your bottom line. Of course that is.
It's going to affect your bottom line.
Of course it is.
Well, but real quick, we're up against the break. But when we come back, I want to talk to you about Deshaun Watson and about what's going on with him and the fines he might be paying if he doesn't show up for minicamp this upcoming during OTA. So stay tuned. Joique Bell, Sean Baligian. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey, welcome back. Glad you could join us. Scott Bischoff's going to come in with us. Our boy Stick said, ask Bischoff where he was supposed to go. Latest should have been third round. You know the one thing that people use against Cephus, and Joique, I know that you can relate to this. You know what was always used against Cephus? He doesn't move. He isn't fast. And he's one of those guys, if you watched him at Wisconsin, and Jeff Okudah was the first guy to say it. Jeff Okudah said, out of all the guys in the Big Ten, I hated to cover him the most. Those are Okudah's words, not mine. You know, Jeff Okudah, who was a highly rated cornerback, who I still think is going to be a darn good cornerback, Okudah said he couldn't stand covering Cephus. Cephus was one of those guys that found a way to get loose. You know, so where would he have gone without that? I don't know. I have no idea. I know this. If anybody watched our draft shows that we did last year for the network, I was talking up Cephus 2 months before they drafted him. Scott will tell you that when he came in today. Love the guy. Love the kid. Seriously. I mean, he's a guy that found a way to get open. He's a guy that found a way to make plays. By the way, his cousin also played for the W. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Yeah, his cousin was a defensive lineman for the W.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, graduated last year. Great kid. Great kid as well. So, big fan. I used to talk to him about his cousin. Kid's a stud, you know. And listen, we've talked about it. Is Cephus ever going to be Kenny Golladay? Nah. Is Cephus an NFL player that could have a nice long career? Absolutely, he is. Yeah. Do I want him part of my receiving crew? Absolutely, I do.
So, who would you compare him to?
He's not the fleetest of foot. And you can't say like he's
his impact on the team. Will he be like a Stevie Johnson?
Something like I can see him being a strong 3.
Yeah,
I can see him being a strong 3. Absolutely, he's a strong 3. Because I mean, you know, with wide receivers now, they don't even really use the term 1s and 2s anymore. You know, because it's like, I mean, there are so many different pieces. You know.
That's
how about look at a guy like Danny Amendola? How does Danny Amendola do it? Danny Amendola isn't going to put up 1,000-yard seasons. He's not going to put up 10, 15 touchdowns, okay? Danny Amendola is going to give you 600, 700 yards a year, 4 or 5 touchdowns, get those big receptions. Yeah. Are you telling me you don't want a guy like Danny Amendola on your team?
No, because you want guys like that on your team because these are guys that you can depend on. You know what you're going to get out of them. And if you get anything extra, it's just a cherry on top, right? And so we had guys like that, like a guy like Zach Zenner. You bring a guy like that in, you know what you're going to get out. He's gonna secure the ball. He's very good in pass pro. He falls for it, and every good running back usually falls for it. He's gonna get you 3 to 4 yards. You know, so that's the type of guy Amendola is at receiver.
Well, and you know what it is? This is why, not to get all draft geeky with you, but this is why some people say, do we really have to put that much value on the wide receiving position anymore? Because if I can find a Kenny Golladay later, and I can find a Danny Amendola later, and if I can find a Cephus later, do I really want to waste that number 7 pick?
It's like this. Say we pass upon the wide receiver, right? That's doing well right now. And the same thing happened, say, we had an opportunity to get, say, OBJ. We had an opportunity to get Aaron Donald. Say we pass up on the wide receiver and he has a career like that, and we look back 4 years from now, say we had an opportunity to get him, and we pass up on it. What do we say then? You know, so you're not really you're drafting what you need, but you're drafting talent. All right, you want to get talent on your team.
Yep.
And then once you get that talent, it's the coach's job to put that person in a position to be successful.
You brought him up earlier, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was not going to win many foot races, okay? Michael Irvin got open. Michael Irvin was a playmaker. Michael Irvin would go over the middle of the field, take a shot, and then turn around and talk trash at the guy that took his head off. He'd pick up his head off the field, put his head back on, and then talk trash to you. I want that guy on my team.
Yeah.
I thank you.
Right.
I don't care what his gosh darn measurables are. I'll take that son of a gun because it's, you know, and then he's going to do a dance when he scores a touchdown on you. And he's going to piss you off even more, and then you're going to take a penalty, and you're going to give me 15 yards, and Michael Irvin's going to beat you again. I want that guy.
You know why you want that guy?
You need that guy.
You need that. You know why you want that guy
Yeah.
on your team? Because he's bringing that culture that we talk about so much on this show. All right, we bring that culture. All right, we got a group text this morning about Sheila and what's going on with the Detroit Lions and
Love
and I love it. Right, and if you look in her press conference, one of the things that she talked about was she wanted to bring somebody in with culture, who had leadership, a guy who wanted to coach here. And she said one of the reasons she hired Dan Campbell, because when he came in, the first thing he said was, "I really want this job. I want to be here." Those are the type of guys you want in your facility day in, day out. Now, is he going to get the job done? Only time will tell, right? Only time will tell, right? And I like his mentality, yes. Do I think he's going to bring that culture? From what I've heard about him through players who play under him, he does a great job of bringing groups of men together and helping them to play well with one another. And so that's what we need here.
You know what I love, and it's funny, Joique, hearing you say that, it as you know, I peruse Twitter a lot. I do. And sometimes I post, sometimes I'm just looking on there. And it's funny because, and I totally understand where people are coming from. And sometimes I think people will hear half of what you say, and then the other half doesn't fit whatever narrative they're trying to spread. So they just forget about the other half. I'm a big fan of saying, I like what the Lions are doing right now. They want to do things differently. They're saying all the right things, but you're my partner, so you know this. You know what my next line is? The hard work is now. The heavy lifting is now. It's easy to say we have to do this, we have to do that. I appreciate the fact that the Lions, this franchise, is saying right now, we have been dysfunctional. We have not been successful, and we have to do things differently. And it's just words when you say we want to build through the draft. And if you've heard me once, you've heard me 50,000 times, okay? I have gone back and forth with people in this town for years. Stop talking about signing the hot free agent. Build through the draft. The hot free agents will come. If you have some success, the hot free agents will come. They'll go, hey, Detroit's building something special here. Man, I'm going to check out what's going on in Detroit. I talked to my boy, Joique.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm not lying. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm from Michigan and I played in Detroit. But if I was a player and I wanted to make my mark and hatch my name in the stones of the NFL, I will play for Detroit, a team that has never won a Super Bowl.
Oh.
You can go to other teams, right? You can go to other teams and you can win a Super Bowl. And this is another reason why I was happy I went to Wayne State, because I was able to go to a school that hadn't won a national championship. So I was able to go to a school and bring success to a school and I will always have my name hatched in the stone there. And so
12 years after he left, this is a true story. I'm saying this, not him. 12 years after he left, there's still a billboard with Joique Bell on it on the west side of the station, west side of the stadium, behind the press box. That billboard coming right next to Trumbull. They have that big billboard of you on the. You've
I think they
seen
took that down now.
Did they really take it down?
I think they put.
See,
like
we didn't do a game
Odyssey.
there last year, so I wouldn't know. Unfortunately,
I don't know.
no,
I
but
could be wrong.
that was up for years.
Yeah,
years after you left.
Yeah. So if say a player wants to come to Detroit and for his first team, and he stay here and he helped take this team to a Super Bowl and win it, he will forever be a guy here in Detroit.
Period.
He'll be a guy here in Detroit
Forever.
I mean, he'll be able to do anything he wanted to do in the city. You'll be part of the team that won the very first Super Bowl in the state of Michigan. You'll move here, you'll never have to leave. No lie.
Did I ever tell you what Vinnie Johnson said to me?
What?
This is, let's see, it was 2003. It had been 13 years since the Pistons won the NBA title. And I did an event with a couple ex-Pistons, and we were at this bar near the Palace. And Vinnie Johnson said to me, it's been 13 years since I hit that shot against Portland. There isn't a day that goes by that somebody doesn't say 007 to me or doesn't talk about the Bad Boys to me. He goes, I walk into a place like this, I don't have to reach for my wallet. He goes, Detroit's great. And I said, that's what people don't understand.
I don't understand it.
They don't get, like, we're in there. Vinny, can I get you a drink? Vinny, what are you drinking? Vinny, hey, Vinny, hey, did you eat? Vinny, I got you. I'll pick up your bill. You're a legend here. Yeah, I mean, we're so earnest for having a winner.
Is that, and then it's also probably when he played, he treated the fan base, he treated the business owners with respect. Always took the time off just to talk, say hi, shake a hand, eat at a restaurant, leave a good tip, and just be the genuine person that you are, right? And when you're done playing, people will always remember that.
And it's okay. Like, I love what Steve said here. Looks good on paper. What the Lions are doing looks good on paper. But this is the part that I think sometimes people don't hear. Now it's the hard work. Now it's the real work. Now it's the follow through. Now it's building your team through the draft. Not talking about building your team through the draft like Bob Quinn did. It's building your team through the draft. It's acknowledging, wow, there's been a disconnect, and this is what I really want to talk to you about, because there's no other show that can talk about this disconnect like this show can, because this guy lived it, okay? Yeah. Hearing about the disconnect between Allen Park and Ford Field, and I want Joique to explain that, and wanting to do something about it. Knowing that we haven't had the best personnel around here. Knowing that we haven't had a good culture around here. Mm-hmm. Acknowledging these things and making an effort to fix them. It doesn't mean that it always works, right?
No.
Do you know what this is something that popped in my head. Sometimes marriages are going to end. It's sad. Sometimes they're going to end. You can go talk to somebody. You can go to a counselor. You can do all the work, but it doesn't mean that it's going to save it, right?
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's going to save it, but you're making the effort to do it. And that's I have to sit back, and for the first time in my life, the Lions are saying, we've been a wretched franchise and we have to fix it. I'm sorry. I appreciate that. I'm not doing my job unless I point out, wow, these guys, they're coming correct about this.
They are, right? And so the disconnect, we're from July until, say, the first week of January, about 270, 280 days out of the year that you're in a season, right? And that's a long time. Out of that 270, 280 days, you're probably at Ford Field as players 10 times.
Huh.
That's it. Only 10 times a year. And now some teams like that around the NFL, where it's like that. You know, they practice here, they play there. But it's different, right? So the disconnect might not only be on that side, might be on the business side as well, the way that they conduct business. That might be another thing. I look around the league and see other teams and what they're doing. Like, for instance, we talked about the Bears. And the day that we talked about the Bears, I said they still send me stuff in the mail. They try to stay in contact with all their alumni. That doesn't happen as often with the Lions, you know. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be a Lions fan until the day I die, right? It's things like that that you want to see get better, and they're getting better at it, but it's gonna take time. And so she said, check back in a few months and let's see where they are. And I think she's gonna do a great job at it because she's wanting to get a job in the NFL for a long time, right?
I love hearing you say that because that was, like, honestly, that was the first, you know, and we'll go over some of her comments in case you missed it, but she talked about the disconnect between Allen Park and Ford Field. What are you talking about? It's a few miles away. And now hearing you explain that, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I get it.
Right. It's not only that, right? So another thing that I love about Sheila Ford Hamp is that if you look at some of the other things that she's saying, and she's not just saying it, but she's actually going out there and she's doing it. Like, it's really different, right? It's really different. Now, if it doesn't work, I'm not holding her to a fault because at least she's tried to do something different, right? And so if you look back, she said that she met Pete Roswell, right? And not even he could get her a job working in the NFL when she wanted to get in.
The commissioner of the NFL. Like, think about that.
From 19.
Hey, Pete Rozelle, can you give me a job?
Yeah.
No, sorry, can't get you in.
A businessman who helped take the NFL to one of the most popular sports. Took over in 1969 until 1989. Did a great job of putting the NFL on the map. All right, he couldn't get her a job in the NFL, and then it wasn't until they had a family meeting, and this is the Throwback Thursday that I was talking about earlier. About 5-6 years ago is where they had a family meeting where they sat down and all of her siblings voted her to be the successor to her mother. And so it must be that was a dream come true for her. And one thing that she liked about it is that she had a successor that she could learn from. And she's learned a lot. And I think I was there when she became the successor, so I was able to talk with her a few times during my playing time there. And even after I finished, I will always see her around and we'll have conversations. Very approachable, likable, and very business-oriented.
I'm a sucker, okay? In case you don't know that, I'm a sucker, all right? But what jumps to me about her, she genuinely seems to care about this franchise, Joique. And you know what? I couldn't say that about our late father. I could not say that about Mr. Ford. At no point in time did I ever feel like Mr. Ford was embarrassed over things. I think Mr. Ford was, in essence, forced into finally firing Matt Millen because his own son came out and talked about how far it had gone. For the first time in my life, we have an owner that I genuinely feel wants to win.
She wants the best interest for the team.
Yes. I really feel that. Like, to me, that picture of her watching the Houston game last year, like watching that debacle, it wasn't the Houston game, it was the game before, where she was just going like this at what a disaster it was. Yeah. That was like, I was like, wow. While I don't like to see her in agony, I appreciate that the owner of the Detroit Lions feels the exact same way that I do. Because she did. She felt the exact same way. Do you know how many games like that I've watched? Like, I can't believe what I'm watching.
Oh, you saw that picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
You never saw Mr. Ford do that. Never.
You know, you don't wear your emotions on your sleeves, you know. And they usually say that
unless you're a
more
Lion
emotional. And they used to say women are more emotional beings than men. And that might not always be the fact when you're in a football game because there's a lot of emotions going on that field. And sometimes we lose our head about it. But, hey, that's the nature of the beast, right?
I appreciated the fact that she showed some emotion because
I love it.
I always thought her father was emotionless. I really did.
No, he wasn't emotionless.
About the Detroit Lions. I
remember we'll have certain games, and I think at this time he was in a wheelchair, so he couldn't get around like that. When I first got here, I think he was with a cane, and he ended up eventually going to the wheelchair. But he would come down after a win, and he'll celebrate some games with us in the locker room. But he can't really get up and talk, but he'll come down and he'll show his face, and he'll come in the middle, and it was good times. It was a good time, but that was before. I think your issue was before I got here.
Well, 1,000%.
It was before I got here.
Oh, he dug his heels in. Nobody's going to tell me how to run my team. This was my handpicked guy. I like Matt Millen, the human being. Like that. That's what it. And again, one of his greatest attributes was also one of his greatest weaknesses. He was a loyal man. He was loyal to a fault. I mean, that's really what it came down to. How about Carol here? I predict that Sheila Ford Hamp is going to win the Lions the Super Bowl in the near future. From your mouth to God's ears, please, pretty please. I want to go dance on my grandfather's grave more than you could ever imagine. I do. I do. Grandpa, they did it. What are you drinking today, Grandpa? And Grandpa and I are going to go have a few drinks at his grave. Are you kidding me? Grandpa, they did it. You said this was never going to happen. Grandpa, I'm hammered right now, but I got somebody driving for me. My Uber driver's going, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He's hanging out in a cemetery with a bottle talking to himself. The Lions just won the Super Bowl. That's what's wrong with me. I mean, right? I mean, we all have a story like that, you know? I mean, I never told my kid that, by the way. You know how I told you my grandfather and my dad told me, stop wasting your time with your franchise, this franchise. Never said that to my son. My son's in. He's in. He goes to a Lion bar in Chicago to watch games. He met a bunch of other guys, and they literally go to a Lion bar. And it's
Where is this?
In Chicago. Chicago.
It's a Lions bar?
Yeah, there's a bar, like, okay, over near where he goes to school in DePaul. You probably know this about. There are different.
Is that close to downtown?
Highland Park, out in Highland Park, like out that area, like just past Wrigley Field, like a little northwest of Wrigley Field. Okay. No, but in that area, there are like different, like there's a Wisconsin bar, there's an Ohio State bar, there's because there are so many transplants in Chicago, so like they have these bars, and so he has a bar that he goes to watch Michigan State games, and he has a bar that he goes to watch Lions games. And it's kind of funny because what happens is all the other transplants from like Detroit like flock to this bar and everything. So it's kind of funny because like he told me, he was like, Dad, somebody asked me my name and I just spit out Jack Baligian. They're like, oh, like, we know your dad. We heard him talking about you when you were born and all that stuff. And he goes, Dad, it creeps me out. I was like, nah, they're just having fun. Hey, start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. We do want to talk about this a little bit more in case you missed some of the conversation with Sheila Ford Hamp. As Joique said, the Deshaun Watson stuff is heating up. Joique, they're going to have to do something. They have to. You can't. That can't sit in the pot. That is a cancer. It will spread everywhere. It just is.
So. Let's talk about it. We'll come back.
Do that when we come back. Don't you go anywhere. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
What up, Doe? How are you? Glad you could join us wherever you may be. It is Joique Bell, Sean Baligian here on Woodward Sports. Scott Bischoff going to come in and talk some draft with us. Some Jared Goff as well. Did I say Highland Park? It's Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park, Chicago. It's out, so it's kind of like north. Steve, you're from Chicago. He knows better than I. It's like northwest of Wrigley Field, just a little northwest.
And they have some campuses now on downtown.
Yeah, they have. They have it's called the Loop. They have the Loop campus downtown, where basically you just jump on, the Loop, the subway, or the train as it is, and you take that into town. So half of his day is like spent in the downtown campus, and then he lives right in between both.
And that's
of them.
right. I think that campus, the Loop, is right next to what used to be our team hotel.
Okay, yeah.
Is it the Hyatt right there?
Yeah. It's
the convention center.
And it's funny. He said the same thing. He goes, "There's a state bar with good wings that I go to in Chicago." It's really odd because it's we can't relate here. Everything's so Detroit centric here. Right. There are so many transplants in Chicago. They have like designated bars. It's like, Art. Let's say you're an Iowa grad. There's like an Iowa bar, like 6 blocks away from where my kid lives. It's weird. There's Iowa stuff all over. It's like, okay, whatever. So I think people like a little taste of home, right? If I'm watching a game, do I want to watch a game?
I want to go to the bar.
You know what I want to watch with, but I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch a Lions Bears game with a bunch of Bears.
I'd rather. Cause I want to hackle a little bit.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I'd vomit the whole time because I don't know if you know this. I don't like the Bears.
I know. That's why you sit there and when you win a game, you put it in their face. You rub it in. All right, but it's the fourth quarter and it's 10 seconds left, and we don't have a chance of winning. You walk out the bar. Hey, tap, please. Tap.
So the Texans are just basically ignoring the whole Deshaun Watson thing.
They've been doing it the whole time. He doesn't want to deal with them. He's put it on the record that I'm not dealing with it, and he's put it on the back burner. It's a lot of things going on with the organization, and as a player, these are one of the teams I wouldn't want to go to. There's just too much going on. As a free agent, I mean, money talks, but if you're later on in your career, say a Sue, I'm not going there.
Boy, are they making their bet, aren't they? The long-term ramifications of this.
It's gonna be long-term,
right?
It's gonna be long-term, and I want to see how this pans out because you can only hide this for so long. Hey, you might file him $3.3 million, but what is that when you're paying him how much?
You're right.
When you're paying him how much?
I don't know. What is his contract?
No, 100 and
it's
what's his contract? 100 and what? 147 around there.
It's insane.
It's around.
Well, you know what? Here's the biggest thing, and I forget the context in which this came up a few weeks ago, Joique, but it is Deshaun Watson is not a cancer. Deshaun Watson's within his right. Yeah. The situation is cancerous. Yeah, it can't. And you guys.
No. The front office.
1,000%.
It's cancerous.
Well, and it's unfortunate because
they put him in this position. He didn't want to be in this position.
It's not Deshaun Watson's fault
at all.
No, right. 1,000%. Yeah. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But the situation now that the front office created has spread everywhere because
and now they're taking. Now they want to hide behind. They want to hide in the bushes and say, "Oh, we're not going to respond to it."
Well, and the worst part is
that's cowardly to me.
The worst part is you guys. Go ahead, Art.
Yeah, 4-year, $156 million deal.
Yeah. So what's $3.3 million of that?
Here's the worst part.
How much is guaranteed? I'm sorry. How much is guaranteed?
That's
guaranteed.
The biggest part.
He got a $27 million signing bonus. $110 million guaranteed.
Ooh, baby.
What's $3.3 million?
So, Joique, here's the worst part. And you guys, unfortunately, have had to deal with this. And you know what? I've probably asked a guy a question. I can't think of one, but it's probably happened that I know damn well he's not going to answer and he has nothing to do with, but I have to do my job. You guys, if you're playing for the Houston Texans, you're going to have to answer questions about Deshaun Watson. And nobody wants that.
That's where the coaches come in.
Nobody wants that.
Listen, that's when the coaches come in. We have a team meeting, whether it's over Zoom, all right, or whatever they use to communicate with the team. And listen, you only talk about yourself. You don't talk about anyone else. You don't talk about anyone's situations. You don't talk about anyone's injuries. You only talk about yourself. So if the media comes to you and asks you anything about another player, you say, I have no comment on that.
I have to ask you, how big of a drag is it? Like, how big of a
they
here,
know.
Joy, can we pretend right now?
Yeah, let's pretend.
You're at your stall. You're still playing. I got a microphone.
I'm out the shower.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know what? First pleasantries. How you been? Great, fantastic. Nice to see you, pal. Joique, I hate to ask this, but the Deshaun situation. How big of a distraction is it right now?
It's not a distraction because I'm just focused on getting better and being a good teammate.
And then 3 other guys come up to you in the next.
They usually all come out at the
minutes.
same time. They all come.
Usually, yeah. It is like the evil horde.
Yeah,
kind of spreading.
It's like you have about 20 guys around your locker, and they're all asking the question. And then once you answer the question 2 or 3 times, they'll get the message. They'll get it.
So that doesn't bug you?
No, I mean it'll bug you if you're a young player. You don't know how to deal with media. But I've always been taught how to deal with media.
Good for you. No, and I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Good for you. Because there are some guys that
they want that one line. Mm-hmm. They want that one line. Yeah. What did I give you that's a line that you can use in the headline? Nothing. That was not a distraction. I'm focused on myself and being a good teammate.
I always laugh when people kept trying to go up to Marshawn Lynch when he went through the 1 or 2 word answers. Like, to me, it's like, I'm not wasting my time. Why are you even wasting your time?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, he's not. Like, seriously, what do you
action, boss.
like? Don't use the I have a job to do. You're not getting anything out of him.
And so what did they do? Deion Sanders in media, and they're like, you know what, Deion, he respects you, so you go talk to him. And what do you do to Deion? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm about that action, boss.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. I'm about that action. And at least Deion was able to get that out of him. You know, because he could have gave Deion the same answer, but he got respect for Deion, so he can't. I'm just about that action, you know. And with his shades on and the media, but you know what?
Houston has to do something with him. They have to. Like somebody has to tell them. This has to end. You can't let it fester. You can't.
We can't. So these are the teams that's in the hunt right now. Possible trades: Vikings, Panthers, and Dolphins.
I read this crazy rumor, and shame on me
for reading rumors,
for not setting, for reading rumors, and B, not sending it to you. You know what? I'm a big fan of rumor, speculation, and innuendo as long as you're told it's rumor, speculation, and innuendo. Does that make sense?
Okay.
If I tell you, Joique, this is something that I saw. It was one of the Viking. You know how they have all the different, Lions Report, Pride of Detroit, all those things. It was one of the little Viking things, like Skull Today or whatever it was. And they were talking about a deal that they thought was possible to bring Deshaun Watson to the Vikings. And basically what the package was going to be, they compared it to the Herschel Walker deal back in the day, which I don't care who you are and how old you are. People still talk about the Herschel Walker deal to this day. When the Cowboys said, we suck, we're giving up our best player, and you are giving us a bushel full of draft picks. And then Jimmy Johnson literally made almost every one of those draft picks work. I mean, it's insane. Go back and look at that deal. It's absolutely insane what he turned all those pieces into. It's crazy. And it built the Dallas Cowboy franchise. But at the time, people were like,
when did the Dallas Cowboys become the American team?
That was like the late 70s. I don't know who dubbed it, but they were always on TV. They were always the 4:00 game on CBS. Back then, CBS had the NFC and NBC had the AFC.
Hit those Cowboys.
And they were always on. You can come in, Grace. They were always on Sunday afternoon at 4:00. So I don't know what Patient Zero was, but it got out there that they were America's team, and a lot of it had to do with squeaky clean Tom Landry and Mr. America, Captain America, the original Captain America, Roger Staubach, who was a star at Navy, won the Heisman at Navy. Joique, he didn't go to the NFL. He went to Vietnam before his NFL career started. And then he came in, and he was just the all-American boy and all that. So it kind of all came from that. They became America's team.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Art.
Question for you. When you look at the issues with Deshaun Watson and also Russell Wilson, and I don't know if you've seen this report, I'm going to put it up on the screen, but he stormed out of the room during a season after his ideas on how to fix Seattle's offense were dismissed. How much of it becomes the quarterback should have a say in what happens on the field and both off the field? Because you're seeing it with Deshaun Watson, you're seeing it with Russell Wilson now. How powerful is that quarterback position when it comes to those talks?
It's very powerful when you have a guy who is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. When you have a guy that's been productive year in, year out, who's been available to your team, who's been a leader, taking you to multiple playoffs berths, that's giving you guys a Super Bowl. Guys like this need to be taken serious in those rooms. If you're paying a guy $200 million, why doesn't he have a say-so on what he likes with this offense? He's played long enough. He knows what he likes. He knows what he wants. He knows what works for him. Why not take that into consideration if you're paying this guy all of this money?
So
it's a respect factor. It's a respect factor.
Here's my question though. Russell Wilson obviously more of a star quarterback than Deshaun Watson. So when you look at that situation, Russell Wilson,
he's more of a what?
He's more of a star quarterback. He's more well known. People know his name.
He's more established.
Yeah, he's more established.
Okay.
So my question is this: when does it become? Okay, you're allowed to discuss this, but when you look at Deshaun Watson's issues, it's like, oh, we don't want to hear about what you think of the front office or anything. You don't have an opinion.
You said what? You repeat that last thing again, Art?
Yeah, so with Russell Wilson, obviously he's proved himself on the field. Playoffs, he's been in that moment. Deshaun Watson, not as much of a star as Russell Wilson. So my question is, when do you get to have a say as a QB? Do you have to reach that Russell Wilson star power to be able to storm out of a room, to be able to do what you want?
That's a great question. No, you know what? I think that's a great question.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what he's trying to say.
No, is it? Do you have to win? Do you have to have the respect of the room?
You have to have the respect. You have to. It's
That's a great question.
It's all of it. It's all of it, right?
Okay.
I mean, if I'm on it, it's a little bit of all of it, because I don't know if he's trying to compare the Deshaun Watson situation to Russell Wilson's situation. It's different situations. I'm going to explain to you why.
Yeah.
You have both guys who are established in the game, you know. And Deshaun Watson's not in my top 5, but he's top 8. He's probably top 8, top 10, top 8. And you have a guy in Deshaun Watson who he didn't ask to be a part of the process. They asked him to be a part of the process. They told him that he was going to be a part of the process. They probably didn't ask Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Right? But even with that being the case, he has the right to at least be in that room to give his 2 cents, even though he's not the coach. A good coach will I mean, you know, you ever heard the saying that the teacher can learn from the student? Mm-hmm. It might be that type of situation, and they can be so arrogant to say, no, we don't want to. I don't know the full story. I'm just speaking in general. I think Russell Wilson has proven himself to be capable of being able to have some type of knowledge about the game.
So here's my other question then. Someone like Matt Stafford, someone like Carson Wentz, not the best quarterbacks, okay, let's be honest. They go into the room and they say, hey, this needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change.
It's first of all, it's not the way you do it. You got to put on some Vaseline before you go in there and tell other men with egos, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it this way. Yeah, you got to. Even coaches don't go into other teams
Matthew
and do
Stafford,
that.
let me put it to you this way, and I have no problem saying this, okay? And I'll let a guy that was actually in the room say this. Matthew Stafford had that capability here if he chose to. He was that respected, not only by guys in the room, but the franchise. He could have done that if he wanted to.
So then is Deshaun Watson as respected?
Hold on. So this is what it is. So he is respected. But what I'm saying is the way that the team went about it, they didn't have a coach. He was supposed to be part of that coaching selection. He was supposed to be part of those meetings. They told him that he was going to be part of those meetings, and he wasn't.
Right.
He wasn't. They said he was going to be part of the GM hiring. Correct?
Well, then you don't. Yeah, then
he wasn't.
You lost the trust.
Right.
The trust is gone.
So now he's in the situation like, I don't trust you guys. I'm gone. Like,
but
you already lost my trust when you did the coach, and now you came back and did the GM. Now I'm done. Now
So my thing is the difference between Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Obviously,
the situation. The situations are different.
Right,
but they both have the right to be in the offensive meeting room and say, "Listen, I think we need to do this. We should try this play out." Right?
Yeah. All that I'm saying is I feel like Russell Wilson would be catered to more as opposed to Deshaun Watson. Even though Deshaun Watson has every right to gripe about this and be upset about this, Russell Wilson has that.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't, because they didn't give him the right. They didn't say, we want you to, we're going to make you a part of this. Now, does he have the right as far as being a player? Yes. As far as what the team has allowed him to be, as far as his ability to make these decisions, no. They didn't say, we want you to come in here and do this. They asked him to come in and be a part of that. And so it's a difference.
And you know what I think is different as well, is I think Russell Wilson has been a part of a lot of great teams, including a Super Bowl winner. And it's very difficult on athletes when they know, you know what's right, and when you're good and you see your team going in the opposite direction, that's very difficult, and I think that's in play there as well. I really do. I think he knows. He's smart enough to know, okay, you know what? We're further away from the Super Bowl now than we've been in quite some time. And is that part of the process? Absolutely.
But my thing is,
absolutely.
My thing is this though. Russell Wilson, this isn't just the first time this has happened. This is a story coming out more and more. Deshaun Watson, he's frustrated. He wants out. These teams hold these guys still when it's like you said, if Joique came to you and said, I want out, sure, let's find you the best place, man. Let's get you out of here. Is it ego in the NFL, like in the players' ownership to where they're like, no, we're not letting him go? Like, when does it become, I'm so frustrated, let me be free?
You know what? I'm going to try to speak for the athlete for a second, and then I'll let a real athlete talk, okay? Do you know what I look at?
What do you look at?
You ask me to be accountable every day. You ask me to be a man of my word. You ask me to show up to work and give you everything I have every day. I give that to you, right? Right? I give you my word, and then I back up my word. Then when you hypocrites say that you're going to do this or you're going to do that, and you don't fix that defense that we've all been begging you to fix, or you don't call me and say, hey, Joique, we really like this coach. We want to get your thoughts. We really like this guy as a general manager. I think athletes get pissed off at that hypocrisy, Joique. You're demanding of me, and I give it to you 100% of the time. If I don't give it to you, I'm cut. You're going to look for a but you do whatever you want?
You know what it is? Because that's the mindset of we own your contract, so we own you. No, you don't. You own the contract. And not all owners have that mentality. But this is that type of mentality. Well, we can tell you what we want to do, but we're going to do something else.
Yeah.
And you better like it. You're going to like it. Or we're going to find you. And so for him to sit here and say, I'm ignoring questions about Washington trade requests. Like, he doesn't want to talk. They're not talking. Then nothing concerning with him. It's disrespectful, and it's cowardly. All right? It's cowardly. And there's no reason to lie to a man. And then just tell him, like, we don't want you in the room. We don't want you in the room. But don't sit here and tell me that and then not do it. You know what I'm saying?
No, totally.
It's disrespectful. It's a smack in the face. And there's no trust. And we can't have a working relationship. Let's part ways.
Steve said Pete Carroll, much more of a player's coach, more lenient with things. No doubt about that.
He is.
People swear by Pete. You know what I got to bring up? Somebody asked me, I'm showing my age. Maybe you saw the 30 for 30, the great train robbery. And when I tell you that people thought that Jimmy Johnson lost his mind when he traded Herschel Walker, universally he got killed for it. And he got all those draft picks, okay? I'm not going to tell you every single draft pick because we'd be here for the next 5 minutes. But it's funny. I just found a cool write-up online about this, okay? Fast forward 6 years later, what did the Dallas Cowboys have to show for the Herschel Walker trade? Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. 3 Super Bowl wins, Emmitt Smith, Hall of Fame running back, Russell Maryland, unbelievable defensive tackle, Clayton Holmes, body, Kevin Smith, who was a tremendous cornerback, and another Hall of Famer in Darren Woodson. What did the Minnesota Vikings have to show? No Super Bowl wins, and an okay tight end in Jake Reed. Like, it's funny how over the passage of time, when they made that trade, people thought that Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson were nuts. They got killed by everybody, okay?
All right.
Fast forward a few years, it's called the Great Train Robbery. They made a 30 for 30 on it. Trading their best player. Our team sucks. We suck. We're going to trade our best player, get in as many assets as we can, but we have to make those picks count. I think they'd make those picks count. I think they'd make those picks count.
That's where we are now.
That's all from trading that one player.
So that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Let's see what happens. Like, and he's known for the draft. He's known for scouting the college athletes. That's what he's known for. Brad Holmes, don't let us down. We're pulling for you, but we're pulling for you. And I'm hit him with the Chad. We're pulling for you, but. Yeah.
I can hear Chad's voice when you say that.
Hey, bud, we want you to be successful.
We're
going to bring you in.
Bud.
You tell us what we need to make sure you're successful here. What do you need here? Hey, we with you, bud.
You know, I have to bring. What is this NBA Top Shot that they were talking about in the? So we have a group text message, all right? And you know what? I kind of feel like my mom and dad in the group text message, because most of the time they're talking about things they may as well be speaking Portuguese. I mean, honestly, they're talking about young, hip things. And, you know, it's like my mom and dad trying to figure out the remote control back in the day. Like, they couldn't figure it out. And I would hold the remote control and I'd go, Mom, hold the remote control and press 07. So she would go 07. I go, no, Mom, let's start. Hold the remote control, point it to the TV, and just press 07. And, like, it was this process that didn't have to be as difficult as it was, but it was. But we did it, Mom, and I'm proud of you, right? They're used to getting.
Mom.
No, Mom, I mean that. My mom would be the first person.
Did that sound a little condescending to you, Art?
A little bit, yeah.
Mom, I'm sorry. But she could not figure out the remote control, you know, because they grew up in a generation where you had to get up and go turn the TV and everything. And I was like, no, Mom, listen, it's so simple. Don't point at the TV, press 07. Mom, no. Just, Mom, here, watch. Okay, now take 07. Really? And we did it. We worked through it. So a lot of times when you guys are having these conversations in the group text message, I check out. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I can give you like a quick synopsis of what it is. Basically.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Joique. Go ahead.
Let me see. The Walker trade was amazing for Dallas. Okay, I wanted to read that before.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. Okay, Art. So NBA Top Shot. It is a digitally based like card,
yeah,
right?
And it's on the blockchain, which is similar to like crypto. It's protected.
Time out. Blockchain.
Okay. Blockchain is like an online ledger that keeps track of all transactions. Basically, it can never be altered. It can never be manipulated. It's always there.
Someone invests in cryptocurrency. You can tell someone invests in cryptocurrency over here. Yeah, so
that's basically what it is. That's
me
why
and Russell Okung.
Yeah, so basically with this, you own that video highlight forever. It's yours. Now, Chad asked a very important question. Chad said, well, do you get royalties on it if ESPN uses it? And I don't believe so, but $46 million in sales in the past 24 hours. It's now done over $180 million to date. As of February 22nd, the biggest purchase of this digital video was the LeBron James Cosmic Dunk moment, which got $208,000.
You know what I'm going to go invest in right now, Art? I'm going to go invest in Joique doing this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go invest in and every time you SOBs play it, you owe me money.
Even if Woodward Sports does it, we're
Woodward
taking
Sports
it.
does it.
You know what's crazy?
And then at that point in time, you know what I own you, Joique.
You know what's funny, man? You know, so I was coming out of college, and all these agents were trying to get me to sign with them coming out. And it was one agent who took my domain name and took joiquebell.com and tried to make me pay for it back when I decided not to go with them. Somehow they pay you a dime.
Holy! He thinks that's a way to get you to come.
Yeah, they try to and the
spin.
I
want you to
and this is the spin
him.
that they put on it. Listen, we already have your website. We're going to get your website up and going. We already bought your domain name, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it. We've already taken care of that for you.
Wow.
This is what we want to do.
What an asshole.
Yeah, he did all of this just to give me a presentation that they gave to another person. And instead of having my name in it, it still had that other person's name in it. I said, you know, this is another person's name in here, right? He said, where? And I go to page because he didn't think I was going to read through it. No, I went through the whole book. I said, this is not my name.
So you saw Art Smith there?
Huh? No, if it was Art Smith, I would have burned it. But yeah. Like, so gave him his stuff back, told him to give him my name back, and it took him a long time. I guess they must have missed the payment, didn't pay for it 1 year, and I took it and never looked back. But yeah, they do stuff like that. That's how. This is the business side of things that people don't like. Certain agents are no good. Certain people are no good. They don't always have the athlete's best interest. So you really have to do some digging. I fired 2 agents. But the first agent was a great agent, great guy. I just kind of outgrew him. The second guy, I just didn't like him because they couldn't get done what I wanted done. Fired him after a week, and I hired my new agency, who I'm still with today. So
here's the number one thing about the Top Shot. is that you don't get royalties on it, which I think if I'm spending $208,000
Why
on
would I
something,
do that then?
Yeah, it's digital.
No,
you have that
sir.
video.
Do I sound like the old guy here? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense.
I
you
want
don't
to
get
make money
royalties?
off of something.
So if ESPN uses the dunk that was sold for $208,000, you don't get a dime of it.
See, then you know what? I don't feel like my mom and dad and their confusion over alarm clocks and the remote.
But
because
it's yours.
this makes
So what's the
bullshit,
profit?
crap.
So what's the profit of it?
You just have it. It's
No,
yours,
but
but it's not.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, it's like
Joique,
having
you know what, Joique, have your
What?
moment back. Hey, Joique, say, hey, ho, have it back. If I can't make any money off of it, it's
If
your
you own
moment.
it, you should get paid royalties. It doesn't make sense. You can, what?
But that really, that just
You know
doesn't
what really
make sense.
grinds my gears? know,
Bill
you need-
Bentley said essentials back to back. Joique Bell, okay, come through, my guy.
Already, you already know, boss.
So, but yeah,
Yeah, it makes no
Art,
sense.
that doesn't make sense to me.
No, because you own it and it's yours, but it's like having a house and not being able to rent it. Like, what's the point? Like, I own this, but I can't do anything with it. Like, oh, cool, I spent $208,000 on a digital moment that doesn't mean anything. Like, I that's where I'm like, I'm getting old.
Do you know what I would do then? I would go find that clip and I would taunt you constantly. I'd go, you don't own this. Look, I got it right here, and I'd show you that clip over and over. Like,
I mean, but $140+ million in profit they've made so far, the organization, and for what? Like, so you could have a clip to say it's yours?
Yeah.
That's like me grabbing Joique's
you know what I do?
Tesla
I'll
and
just
saying
screen
it's mine.
record it and put it and save it in an iCloud.
Yeah.
And that fairy dust. You know, it's like one of those things that you can't see, but you know it's there. Like fairy dust, like iCloud, you can see it, but it's not really there.
Yeah.
You know? The blockchain is there, but you can't see it.
Bill said, we got to get you right. Tell your boss, let me swag you. All right, deal. That was easy. I'm in.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Bill might be one of the sauciest guys as far as fashion I play with. That's a shout out to you, Bill. I can't compete with that man.
Honestly, the more I hear about this, what good can I turn around and sell it? Am I going to make? How could I make a profit? Like, you and I both know a little something about real estate, okay?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to sell this in a year to Joique? Like, Joique, I bought this at $208,000, but I'm going to sell it at $300,000.
What do you have?
Right?
What do you have?
The LeBron Dunkaroo cosmic thing.
Hold on, let me go on YouTube and type it up. Can I find it on YouTube?
Chad, if you're out there, can you make sense of this to me? Because, honestly,
somebody call John. Somebody make sense of all of this.
It doesn't make sense.
Here's the other thing about it is that you can get like packs, and it's like trading cards. So it's a digital trading card, and in one of those packs, you might have a Steph Curry shooting a 3 buzzer beater, and then that's worth X amount of dollars, and you can sell it.
Well, who's sitting in the room and just, hey, I got an idea. But I guess it's working, so.
I used to collect cards when the bottom dropped out. It was over. It was done.
I think the only thing that's unique about this, though, Sean, the only thing that's unique is that it will always be on a blockchain and it will always be there for the rest of your life. That's probably the only unique thing. If YouTube servers were to crash, you can always go there to look at it. But throughout the YouTube era, when have they ever went down? When have the servers ever went down to where you can go on there and search for something?
I will say it's happened a couple times
during COVID. There's one night, do you know what? I think I told you this.
For a night?
It was for maybe an hour.
Yeah,
maybe an hour. So you're gonna pay $208
right?
for an hour.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay, hey, you got it.
McCarty and I, we talked about this. Like, the YouTube rabbit hole is real. We all know that, right? Mm-hmm. The YouTube rabbit hole is real. Like, you go on YouTube at 8 o'clock at night saying, you know what? I just remember I'm going to watch part of this game. And the next thing you know, the suggested for you, another video shows up. Yeah. And I find myself clicking.
That's your rabbit hole. My rabbit hole is IG.
And Joique, the next thing I know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm on the ESPN. I'm on the ESPN app. I'm looking at different stories, and all of a sudden, I'm on IG in my search history, just going through like the the search thing where you just swipe, you just see a bunch of different stuff.
It's all tailored to you though. That's how it works.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. And
Son of a bitch.
Just like the Facebook algorithm, I'll go watch a fight, and then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I love that fight. I love that fight. And they just know.
Or you talk about something, or you talk
That's
about
creepy.
something, and then it pops up on your phone.
That is creepy.
That's real.
It's real.
No, that's real.
No, it's really real.
I'm not joking with
at
you
all.
either. That's real. And it scares the crap out of me.
They're listening.
Like who's in my house? That little fella that lives in my phone. Get out.
Scott.
Nobody invited you there. That's real.
I had to disconnect my Alexa. Did you see the YouTube?
See, I won't invite Siri or Alexa into my house. You just need to know that. They are
I'm
not welcome
example.
in my house.
This is freaky. So it was a clip. It was on YouTube. You didn't have to go to blockchain. It was on YouTube. I saw this little video on YouTube. It was a lady. She had the Alexa in her house, right? So she'll say, Alexa, will you lie to me? And Alexa says, no, I will never lie to you. I don't have the ability to lie. She said, okay. She said, Alexa, what's the CIA? It's the Central Intelligence Agency created in the 1980s or whatever. She said, okay, is the CIA listening to my conversation right now? She said, Alexa, is the CIA listening to my conversation right now? You know what she said?
What?
It made like this bloop bloop. If she asked her again, she said, Alexa, is the CIA listening to my conversation right now? It said bloop bloop. And so that video got around, right? It got around. So they made changes to Alexa. So you'll go through that same sequence of questions, and when you get to the last one, it says, "Is the CIA listening to our conversation?" And it said, "Well, the CIA is very." They went around the question without answering. They said the CIA is very They respect people's privacy. If you guys have any issues, be free to call this number 1-800 blah blah blah. It gave you a number to call.
I don't like that.
Right.
You know why that does? You know why that bothers people like Art and I, especially because I've kind of found this out about Art and I. We're both government. Stay the bleep out of my life, guys.
What do you mean? You and Art? Me? That's why.
Okay,
that's why I drive the electric car. That's why I went to solar.
Stay out of my life.
You got to go solar now.
I'm fine.
I don't know. They might be able to see.
No, but I won't invite those women into my house. I already have 3 women in my house.
You can change the voices on there.
No. Siri, Alexa, none of them. They're not invited. And I told my kids, don't bring that crap. I don't need these people in my house. It's good. But there have been times like I'm sitting at home and like we're having a conversation and then
At what point? So and this is going to be the topic. Do you guys want your privacy or do you want safety?
I want my freedom. For one, free Edwards.
I love freedom. I do. I'm a fan of freedom.
And then they'll throw out this example. A guy was murdered in his home, and the way they was able to find a murderer was they was able to go find Alexa and rewind it back like 15 minutes, and they heard them talking and found the guy that way.
Listen, it's a double-edged sword, but do you want convenience or do you want freedom? Because, Sean, I mean, I don't know if you know, but we all have these things.
We all have these, but you have a choice, though.
Where's a garbage can?
Like, you have a choice with these. You have a choice.
I'm done.
You know you need that phone,
I'm going to put my rotary phone back in there. And
Sean, you need your phone. You're not going to
use the finger dialer. Oh, we're so reliant on our
Hey,
phones.
but real quick, guys, we're up against the break. You have another read you want to do real quick?
I have a couple reads.
All right, go ahead.
All right,
you
ready?
We'll take a quick break and bring on Scott Bischoff.
Have I talked to you about my bookie?
Yes, you have. But
No
continue.
matter the sport or season.
Oh, really?
You can always win big now. I'm talking non-stop action, 365 days a year. Choose from thousands of lines. NBA, NHL, UFC, doesn't matter. Winning never ends when you play at my bookie. They truly have something for everybody, and absolutely nobody does prop bets like my bookie. Check them out. Put them to the test. You can find out for yourself. March Madness right around the corner, so start building your bankroll. But
bankroll.
You got to do this first. Get that head start. Sign up today with the promo code Woodward and get your first deposit matched halfway up to $1,000. That is free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. It's like, hey, Siri, can you put $1,000 in my account? And she listens. That's what my bookie's doing for you. The best part is You always have access to the action, whether you're at home or on the go. Visit mybookie.ag today and use promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet, win, get paid at MyBookie. Scott Bischoff coming up next. We had some questions in the peanut gallery about Quintez Cephus for Mr. Bischoff. Mr. Bischoff will tell you that I had a crush on Cephus last spring before the Lions selected him.
Yeah, I think so. I think.
And we'll talk some quarterbacks with Scott as well. Make sure you check it out. Joique, Bell, Sean, Baligian, Woodward.
Hey, it's
Sports.
Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Well, hello, friends. How are you? With the average price for an ounce of Michigan recreational dispensaries coming in at $300, why not just grow your own? With just one light, you can pull down up to 36 ounces each harvest. Do the math, and then go see our guys at Grow Green. They have everything you need to start growing today and the knowledge to make sure that you crush it. Mention Woodward Sports and get a free T-shirt. Thank you, Grow Green.
Can't pass up on that free T-shirt.
Joique, Scott, Sean.
Put those L's up.
You're a pro.
No, I'm not. You know better than anybody I'm not a pro.
It's no.
That's true. But that's also not true. He's making all kinds of noises and you're not breaking. It's really
You know, this is a little ad-lib, you know.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I think the client probably loves it. Thank you.
Hold on, question. Let's ask.
because this chair is going to kill him.
Let's ask the fans real quick.
Put it out there. I
Do
feel
you-
like I'm like 14 months
How
old.
can I help you?
No, we're good.
No, how can I help? Do you want me to move this mic?
Who? No, go sit down.
No, I'm gonna move your mic.
No.
You got to move your seat up some, Scott. You low.
I don't really want to move anything because if I do it, it's gonna. Let's go. What?
No, somebody asked. You know what? Stick actually asked. We were talking about Cephus earlier, and did that stuff at Wisconsin, the bogus stuff at Wisconsin, do you think that stuff affected him via the draft? Were you surprised where he was drafted?
No, I don't think he's a real explosive player,
See, what are we talking about?
and he's not. This is relatively speaking, he's not fast, but he's a really good football player. So those guys are yeah. He's
Scott's mic
really
on?
good
You
at
want
playing
a fast?
football.
You want a guy who make plays, or you just want a fast guy? What do we want?
So
here?
it's funny because I was looking at Anthony Schwartz this morning, who is like, we're gambling, right? If you're putting money on who's going to run the fastest 40 of anybody at any pro days, or if it was Indy like happening right now, it's going to be Anthony Schwartz. Like Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle run like 10.6, 10.700 meters. Anthony Schwartz ran a legit 10.0900 meters. That's world class. He's I want to say he owns the world record for the fastest 100 meters under 18 years old. He plays at Auburn. He's 6 foot and
Is that
180
hand time?
pounds.
Is that hand time?
No, it's electronic. It was a touch wind aided, but it's not considered wind aided. But that's ridiculous fast.
Yeah.
There's like super fast guys, and then there's like faster than Tyreek Hill fast guys, and Anthony Schwartz is that. But he's not a great football player yet, where Cephus was a very good football player who didn't require running in the 4.4s to get open. He just knew how to use his body to get open.
Like
But
Lance Moore?
those guys fail a lot too at the NFL level. The big-bodied possession types who have to use their physicality to get open. Sometimes that doesn't translate because guys, as you know, at the NFL level are just bigger and physical and more physical, more fast. It's harder for
Smarter.
yeah.
Watch
So
film.
where you can exploit a college corner through a variety of things where it doesn't need to be that you're quicker or faster. That kind of dissipates at the NFL level. So it didn't surprise me where he went, but I was also happy they took him there because the floor with him is pretty high, right? I mean, I felt like he would be a player who would make the roster and likely help them while not being a future,
Yeah, it's
huge
funny.
part of it.
Before you got here, we were talking. I'm not writing the guy into the Hall of Fame. I'm not writing the guy into All-Pro status, okay? You know what I am writing him into? The type of guy that can help you win some football games.
Yeah.
A Danny Amendola type. You're not going to be wowed at the end of the day at any of his seasons, but you know what? Is this a guy that can make some plays? Is this a guy that can get you 700
He's already shown
yards?
that.
Right? He absolutely, positively, he's already shown that. You were just talking. One of my favorite wide receivers ever is Michael Irvin.
Okay.
I love Michael Irvin, okay? And a little bit before Joique's
love
time, although I'm sure Joique knows him. Michael was not going to beat anybody in a foot race. He was going to beat nobody in a foot race.
No, but he
okay?
wasn't losing on the football field either.
And he wasn't going to lose.
Yeah.
Give me Michael Irvin, because chances are while you're running trying to keep up to him, he's going to bite you in the neck. Right. And as you're bleeding to death, he's going to catch the touchdown, run into the end zone and then turn around and stomp on you as you're dying.
So that's what you like.
I want that guy.
So you want Jamar Chase?
No,
yes.
So this is who I watched growing up. Same time. Who would you rather have?
You're going to say T.O., aren't you?
Nope. Michael Irvin, Herman Moore.
Michael Irvin. And I love Herman Moore. I love Herman Moore. I love Herman Moore as a human being.
Why is that?
I love Herman Moore as. Do you know what? Michael Irvin would win. Again, here's 50-50 ball. Michael Irvin would win 110% of the 50-50 balls. Not 100%. He'd win. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, it's like watching him play. He was one of those guys that he just found a way. He always found a way. And Herman was, I think, underrated. I really do. There were things that Herman could do that other human beings couldn't do.
Look at Herman's numbers.
What would Herman Moore have done in Dallas?
It might have been sick. What he would have been able to do.
That's what I'm saying.
It might have been sick what he would have been able to do.
So what would have been the difference between him playing there and playing here? Because he put up some ridiculous numbers here.
Troy Aikman would be the first big difference. I mean, seriously.
Emmitt Smith.
As a player, what would be the big difference between him as a player being here and being there? Because he was able to put up numbers here.
He did put up numbers here. I mean, he was sick.
He did.
95, he could have made the argument he was the best receiver in the league that year.
Who was back and forth with Jerry Rice a lot.
Yeah, he could have made the argument he was the best receiver in the league.
Physicality and attitude.
Yeah.
And where Michael Irvin really fit in with that Dallas team was what he brought just from an attitude standpoint. And that's
locker room guy. Locker room guy?
I'm sure there was other stuff outside the locker room kind of stuff, but I don't know either.
What stories did you hear, Sean?
Well, Mike was crazy. Mike was a crazy man.
Herman was kind of crazy too.
Well,
Herman.
Mike. There's a story, you can look this up. They had a place called the White House, and I'm not gonna. I'll just let you.
What did they serve for breakfast at the White House?
Do a little homework on what things that transpired at the White House, and that's part of what led to the whole Nina Shaw Raven thing. It wasn't exactly a secret.
You are correct,
Things
sir.
that were going on at the White House. So Nina Shaw Raven claimed I was at the White House. And Eric Williams and Michael Irvin, and I forget who the third cowboy was,
I put that phone down,
jumped on me, and we did things. So, yeah, the White House was the White House was, yeah, the White House was.
We don't need to judge. It's all good.
Yeah. But again, I don't know this to be, Kevin said, QC is the prototypical possession wide receiver, move the chains player. You need guys like that.
Yeah.
Like that. I want a guy like, I wish Danny Amendola had 5 years left.
He was
I like Danny Amendola.
Fifth round pick.
Yep.
If he plays for you throughout his first contract and is somewhat productive over that span,
you think that's coaching though? Do you think that's coaching with those type of guys? To be able to get a guy in the 5th or 6th round and be able to develop him to be
in some places, yes.
Yes.
Scott, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I do. I do agree.
It's major. It is for guys to get picked up in the 5th and 6th round, and the Patriots do a great job of grabbing those guys and developing them.
Yeah, and then think about what value you're getting for you're paying a 5th rounder for 4 years, almost nothing, to be productive for you that first contract. Yeah, I mean it's a big deal. It's a huge thing.
As Chad said, he said had NFL record with speaking to Herman, 123 catches in a year until Marvin beat it. I call him 123 as a nickname. As I said, 95. You could have called Herman Moore the best wide receiver in football. Honestly, Yeah, that year, I think Herman Moore was the best wide receiver in football. I really do.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin was an assassin, though. He was an assassin.
He was, and some of it's, he played for a team that won a bunch of Super Bowls.
Yep.
There's that component of it too.
Absolutely. So I want to ask you.
Uh-oh.
No, are you hearing anything about Deshaun Watson?
No.
Nothing at all. You've heard nothing
at all.
No.
He's got to go, right?
No.
He doesn't have to go?
No. Okay. Let's go back to your first question. Yes. Okay. Deshaun Watson wants to play in Atlanta, which sounds crazy because Matt Ryan's there, his cap hit. I don't know how that would work, but I've heard that from multiple places since the beginning of this, that he really wants to go play in Atlanta.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Well, real quick. What's Matt Ryan's contract when he signed that new one? What was it? What?
They owe him like $1 trillion over the next 4 seasons. I have no idea.
Remember,
It's way too much.
Was. I'm gonna. Do you remember what it was?
That's probably why he's saying. That's probably why he's saying it. Would you rather, if you're Atlanta Falcons, and this is probably his mindset, do you want to build your team around a younger quarterback, or you want to keep Matt Ryan and you have to pay him all this money, and this is a way that you can get out with a younger quarterback to build around?
Yes.
So that's smart. That's smart. That's smart thinking on this habit. If he wants to go there.
That's what Watson's group is telling the Falcons.
Okay.
Find a way to move Matt Ryan. It wouldn't surprise me if Matt Ryan ended up in a place like New England and Deshaun Watson ended up in Atlanta somehow. But I can't logistically tell you how that would work because I have no idea how it would work.
Well, do you remember around here when Matthew signed the contract, okay? There was a, and Scott, you might be able to explain this better, but there was a pecking order that had to happen, okay? When Carr got his big contract in Oakland, okay? Anybody, if you pay attention at all, if Carr got this and set the bar there, well, what's Matthew Stafford going to get? So Matthew Stafford, if you remember, for a while was the highest paid player.
Yeah, he was.
And people go, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like,
and there was
don't
Matt
hold
Ryan.
your breath too long.
Wait for 10 months.
Because Matt Ryan's next.
And then Aaron Rodgers
is next. And it was fun because I don't think people, they're so wrapped up in the moment, they don't understand.
We have to do that.
As the cap keeps growing,
you have to do
we're going to see more contracts like that. Ryan's contract, for what it's worth right now, he's got $23 million in base this year, with a dead cap hit of $49.9 million.
But what happens if
and a cap hit of $40 million?
What happens post June 1?
Do you want me to look that up for
I
you?
do.
Hold on a second.
I should already know this.
Are you ready?
I'm embarrassed at myself.
Post June 1, dead cap $17.9 million in 2021. Pre-dead cap $49 million.
Okay.
So if you want to make a move with Matt Ryan, you do one of those like the Lions Goff deal. Shh, nothing's official yet.
Yeah.
But everybody knows it's official. Matt, for all I know right now, okay, Matt Ryan might already be gone. And we just don't know it yet because of what Scott just talked about. And that's, guys, think about this. That franchise is saving $32 million by bullshitting everybody and saying, yeah, we did this after June 1st. Of course they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just compensation. What do you have to give to Houston if you're Atlanta?
Absolutely.
To make that work?
Yep.
Is Julio Jones a part of that? Yeah. I mean, but he makes a ton of money too. So you're still going to have to clear some money to make that happen. Multiple firsts.
They just cleared money in Houston when they let J.J. Watt go.
Yeah. No, Atlanta would have to clear money.
Oh, okay.
To bring on Watson's contract. Now, I don't know what the dead money implications are going forward for Ryan, but that's what I heard from that Watson absolutely wanted to play at home in Atlanta, and that's where he wants to be. That doesn't mean he's going to get to go there, but Houston has to trade him.
They have
and whether or not they will is a whole different story. I don't know.
You can't let that sit. Scott Bischoff in with us today. We're going to be talking some quarterback as well when we come back. You know what? It's interesting.
Huh?
Can I ask you this?
Oh boy.
No, but this is before we go to the break, okay?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to put words in your mouth, okay? You liked Jared Goff coming out of college, right?
I did.
Were you more of a Goff or a Wentz guy? I don't remember. I should know this because you and I were doing shows.
I liked Goff more than I liked Wentz.
Okay.
Wentz. I did.
Right.
I will own it.
Can I add? I'm not trying to.
No, I'm cool.
What happened the last couple of years? Save it. We're
Okay.
going to come back.
I'll save it.
Because you know what? Seriously, and I say this, 2 years ago, he looked like a stud. He did. And then the last couple of years, he's been a turnover machine. So there's got to be more. Again, listen, I'm sitting in Detroit. I haven't watched Jared Goff game in, game out.
What is it? Is it preparation? I mean,
I don't know.
What's
That's
the drop
I
off?
want to
What's
ask
the
him.
drop off?
Like,
I think there's one.
No, hold on. When we come back.
When we
tuned.
come back, I'll tell you the one thing I think.
Who's a pro now? Sean, who's a pro now?
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
hi, how are you? Welcome back. Fremont. The White House was a good time? Question mark. I've been told.
Who knew?
I wonder how many people watching actually like Scott. We grew up in that era. I wonder how many people watching actually. I gotta pull my phone out.
The Lawrence Taylor
look
era?
up the White House. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there were some stories. There were some stories about that. All right. So before we went to the break, and I want to get your take on this in just a second. Like Scott and I have been doing this for years, and part of the reason is, and I've told him this, I'm not trying to embarrass him right now. You're not hearing this stuff anywhere else, and it's really cool to hear the scout's perspective. And you know, I told you some of the best advice that I ever got was my buddy, our mutual friend, because I think you were friends with him as well. Tom Kowalski, the longtime beat writer, used to tell me, don't pay any attention until after the combine's over. And then you start to hear what people really think around the league about these players. And then you also, as an added bonus, wait, there's more. The caveat of lying. Teams are going to lie to you and talk down a player, talk up a player and everything. But I'm being very serious when I say this. I think I've made my feelings about Jared Goff abundantly known.
I think you have. I think you're right.
Is there something that maybe we haven't seen here in Detroit about what happened in the course of a couple years ago? Because I was going back. You might remember this. My son and I, he had just got back from college, and that Monday night game against Patrick Mahomes, that was just fun.
Glorious.
And the whole game, my son and I were literally sitting in the front room laughing. Like it was like watching a Madden game. And my wife's upstairs going, gosh damn it, shut up. You know, I'm trying to sleep, and we're just going, because it was just, there were so many.
It wasn't your fault they kept scoring.
It was a track meet. It was fun. It's what you know they want the league to be. And, you know, obviously people say, well, the Matt Patricia being a genius, he has figured out McVay and figured out that offense. Am I missing something? Are we missing something as to why it went from here to, well, he's a turnover machine now.
Turnover.
Okay.
Figured them out.
So, Jared Goff comes into the NFL and plays as a rookie with Jeff Fisher, and you know that that's doomed for failure. You just know. That's a really awful place for a rookie quarterback to play. It just is. Sean McVay comes in, and if you guys remember, that's when Sean McVay could talk into Jared Goff's helmet. Second-year player talking into Jared Goff's helmet, essentially telling him, this is the way the defense is lined up. This is where I want you to throw the ball. Jared Goff doesn't really have to figure out too much as far as his offensive scheme if his coach is telling him where to go with the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how much did McVay's scheme limit Jared Goff's growth as a player? And I think if you go down that road, that's where you're going to find where Jared Goff's issues are today, is because that he wasn't required to, for himself, figure out what a defense is doing or how to manipulate a defense or how to look off a safety with his eyes. Any of the things that quarterbacks do, it was because the scheme gave that to him. So when defenses figure out scheme, which they have, obviously, all of a sudden your quarterback isn't great at reading coverages and reading, pre-snap and post-snap because his coach/offensive coordinator is doing it for him. That's where the turnovers come in, where defenses figure out where they're going with the ball. quarterback struggles to read defenses at times because the scheme is limited to what the scheme does. And in the end, I think you're looking at an offense where the scheme was figured out. And not to throw McVay under the bus or anything, but I think we're going to find out that he's a rigid coach, just like perhaps a past Detroit Lions defensive coach was. And it's more about how good his scheme is, and we don't need to alter the scheme. If he just does what I tell him, the scheme's good enough when defenses around the NFL have figured out that scheme. That's what I think. So going forward with Goff, do we really know what he's going to look like outside of Sean McVay's scheme? And the answer is no.
It's a good question. That's a fair question. That's fair. Maybe I've been a little too mean to him.
Maybe
I have.
Did I just sell you on Goff?
No, hell no. You're going to have to prove it.
Yeah,
but
no, he needs to play to that level.
If I'm doing my job, all right, and that's a reasonable explanation. And I'm going to tell you again, if this guy lights it up the first few weeks of the year, well, am I going to say he sucks? No.
No, you never said he sucked.
Because then I look like an idiot.
No, but you never said he sucked before. You just said he was a placeholder. That's what you said.
He's a placeholder.
But if he comes in here and he plays the way that he played their Super Bowl run, how would you feel? Is he still a placeholder?
I would be.
Or we keep him?
If he had that type of season, okay? If he had that type of season at his age, all right, where you thought you don't have to draft a quarterback, I'd be ecstatic. That helps the football team. I'd be like, if he went out and he had that type of season, under these circumstances, I'd cry tears of joy.
I think you still get a quarterback. I don't care what you're talking about.
I think you have to take a quarterback in this draft and hope.
You really do this draft?
Absolutely. You got to take a quarterback until you find one who fixes your franchise.
I always thought it would be next year. I did. I just assumed it would be next
year. And it's based off what we talked about before we had you on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It falls back to what you and I talked about in Sean on the show. It might have been a week before last, but we talked about how this year is going to be different from than next year, and we're not going to be able to get a true evaluation on the players before the draft. So I would rather wait until next year. Goff still is going to be here, and he comes in for a year under Goff and kind of learn the system and have a guy that he can look up to, he can learn from.
Here's where I think a large part of my thinking would go down that road with you, and we could hold hands and all that stuff, and it'd be good. Mm-hmm. But they need to take as many kicks at the can as they can at the quarterback position, and passing on it 1 year just because you have Goff, I think, is in the end a potential mistake, because it's a kick at the can that you've not taken at the quarterback position. So let's say
so say this. Say we have a quarterback there, and you have another top athlete, say Devontae Smith there. Are you going to take one of the quarterbacks that wasn't high on your radar, or are you going to take a guy that is high on your radar? Are you drafting talent, or are you drafting per position? Like, what are you doing? I'm a big believer in drafting talent, right, and then put him in a place to be successful. And then if a quarterback isn't a quarterback that we don't feel is going to help this franchise, I don't think we bring him in just because we have that pick. That'll be a wasted pick if he comes in and doesn't work.
Well, I'm just working under your hypothetical as well. If he comes in this year with this team and has the type of year that he did with that Rams team, don't you have to rethink everything?
I don't think you rethink everything. I think we rethink drafting a quarterback.
See, that's the conundrum.
We need a quarterback. We need
no question.
Because if we don't draft a quarterback next year, it'll be a similar situation to when Matthew Stafford was here. We're not going to bring in any competition to kind of push him to be better. So let's bring in that. Why are you smiling?
There's one quarterback in next year's class who I would tell you right now is like a viable guy.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Sam Howell. Do you know why I'm smiling?
Why?
Because Bob Quinn tried to do what they did in New England. And the difference was, whether it be Matt Castle, whether it be Jimmy Garoppolo, those were guys that had an opportunity to come in and prove they could play, and then were summarily flipped elsewhere, okay? You were not going to flip Jake Rudock, okay? Michigan fan, I'm sorry, he wasn't very good. You were not going to flip Jake Rudock. You were not going to flip Brad Kaya. Okay, that was Bob trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Brad Kaya wasn't going to come in and beat Matthew Stafford out. Jake Rudock wasn't going to come in and beat Matthew Stafford out. And because of that, number one, people weren't going to get an opportunity to see them play because Stafford stayed healthy. And number two, they never got an opportunity to flash on the big stage where somebody could go, oh crap, we're screwed. Well, hey, let's call for Jake Rudock. Our team could really use some Brad Kaya right now. And so while Bob tried that, the execution was brutal. That's why I was smiling. Because it's like you could see what Bob was trying to do, but Jake Rudock and Brad Kaya are not Jimmy Garoppolo and Matt Castle.
And, if we look at the top 4 in this class, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, those guys are, as prospects go, much better than the Garoppolos.
Fremont loves Trey Lance, by the way. Take a chance on Lance.
Trey Lance may have more upside than any quarterback in the entire class.
It's a big statement, Mr. Bell. As a gentleman that went to a small college, right? It's a big statement.
He's a baller. I mean, there are things he does as a first-year quarterback that...
Okay.
What?
Okay. I like him.
I feel you judging me.
I like him, though.
Okay.
I like him.
Then why are you judging me?
I'm not judging you. I didn't say anything.
Well, it's in your eyes. Huh? You didn't have to say a word.
I was seeing where you was going with it.
No,
I'm always for the small school.
My mind's been on the White House for a half hour. I'm just telling you point blank.
Oh, you can't wait?
I've just been thinking about I can't wait to get out of here. And
are you stopping on the way home?
Hi, I'm Sean Baligian for the White House. When I need a good, relaxing afternoon after a show with my pal Joique Bell, I head to the White House.
I might need to go there. I might need to go there after my show with Art.
If there was ever a time where you two could get on the same page, it would be a relaxing. Hey guys, this one's on me.
A relaxing day at the White House.
Afternoon at the White House.
Yeah,
I got you covered.
Okay,
it's relaxing.
I don't know what is the White
Art
House.
probably wants to go to the Coliseum.
Oh, the White House is a strip club? Oh, is that what it is? No, I'm a married
Amongst other things, the White House was a strip club.
Do they have good food there?
I bet they did.
Who knows?
I bet they
Nobody will ever know.
I bet they did. All right, Scott and I are going to do the draft show. We'll talk more about some of the quarterbacks in this class. It's funny. Dave Burkett came out with a mock, and he said he would take Trey Lance. It's interesting. That doesn't mean, again, when you say things like this, that doesn't mean that Scott is insinuating or Dave Burkett or Sean Baligian or Joique Bell are insinuating that's what the Lions are going to do. What would you do in that position? I think you have to think long and hard about Trey Lance.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to give up future anything to grab potential franchise quarterback, you should take franchise
quarterback. And Joique,
quarterback.
that takes care of what you said a couple minutes ago. You got Jared Goff. Let's see what we got with this guy for a couple of years, right?
Let's see.
And if he doesn't work in 2 years, you still have 2 picks in 2023 where you can go get another. It gives you another opportunity to hit the market.
Yep.
Where if you wait till next year, then you're really not hitting the market in 2023 because you have a rookie quarterback who you don't really know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Joe Milton will be coming up by then.
Sure. They can run RPOs and power.
Hey, we got 2 first-round picks, hey.
All right. So what are we doing today? What are we doing to say goodbye to everybody today?
We're doing the Emancipation Proclamation.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. You sent me a text in my brain. Sorry.
It is.
I'm
It's
thinking about the White
Emancipation.
House. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hey, and this is actually this wasn't done in the White House though, but this was the Emancipation Proclamation. Take a look, guys. Gang, gang.
On that island sits Fort Sumter. On April 12, 1861, a single mortar shell shattered the pre-dawn sky, and the United States, just 85 years old, erupted into all-out civil war. Initially, for President Abraham Lincoln, the war was about a single overriding goal: saving the Union from the forces of secession in the American South, forces that were threatening to tear the Republic apart.
There was a ditty that people used to sing around Union recruiting that I think sums up what Lincoln's original orientation was. It went something like, I stand for the Union, all its foes I abhor. I ain't for the N-word, but I am for the war.
Soon after the war began, its focus began to change. When enslaved African Americans, forced to work in the Confederacy's defense, escaped behind Union lines.
Escaped slaves who run away to Union lines are called contraband. And what Union policymakers, including Lincoln, begin to recognize is this creates a welcome disruption among the Southern slaveholders. This deprives them of their property, it shuts down their plantations, and it makes their war effort more difficult.
The swelling numbers of contraband pushed President Lincoln to see that the Civil War was actually about abolishing the institution of slavery, ultimately leading him to issue the Emancipation Proclamation.
In many ways, the Emancipation Proclamation is, first and foremost, a military policy. It's not clear the Union is winning the war before the Emancipation Proclamation. So the Emancipation Proclamation also gives these escaped slaves the opportunity to serve in the Union Army. This is crucial to the Union's success in the war effort.
With the freedom of their people at stake, almost 200,000 black men enlisted in the Union Army and Navy, playing a pivotal role in bringing victory to the North.
The key element that changed the outcome of this war in terms of who won it and in terms of what it was about were the slaves themselves. Their determination that this war was going to be about the end of slavery. Masses of self-liberated slaves became the wave that the Union would ultimately ride to victory.